Associate dentist needed in Arizona for a good reason. I'm thrilled to be talking with our Dentist Job Connect client, Dr. Trim, here today. He's going to share why he's looking for an associate. But for anyone tuning in, you can text TUCSON, TUCSON, to 215-798-9897 or visit dentistjobconnect.com to apply for this job and see all of other listings. So Dr. Trim, happy Friday to you. Glad to be talking to you. Tell us a little bit about where you're sitting on Earth. Where do you do your dentisting thing?
So we're in Marana, Arizona. It's a little north suburb of Tucson, Arizona. Beautiful, and it's where you can be outside all year round. It's the best place. It's like Zion. A lot of people call it Zion.
I like it. I go to a lot of C courses out in Arizona. I'm always a little bit jealous. Sometimes when I go in the July time, though, I do realize that we have the cold here in Philadelphia, and you guys have the opposite end of that, and sometimes the summer's there. So I love going out there. So you're in Arizona, and you need a dentist to come help you. Why are you looking for an associate dentist?
So we've had a great associate. He's been with me for 5 years, but he's having to move his family up to Washington. I think it's just a U of A issue. He's following the U of A football coach. Just kidding.
I like that. Yeah. People are passionate about sports. The other night on my Facebook group, I got more complaints about some of my posts about the Super Bowl than I did about the Krebs cycle or the perfect occlusion. So dentists love sports. So this is, I like to teach my community. And this happened to me during the pandemic. My associate moved to San Francisco because his wife got into a medical residency. And that is one of the best reasons to replace an associate, someone leaving for a good reason. What it tells you is they had a schedule before they left, and they're leaving for a reason. That's just part of the circle of life. So that's why they're leaving. Now, we know dentists, Dr. Trim, they ask questions about the question. Dental school turned us into very weird people. We need to see a bite wing of the bite wing. So tell me, if I took this job, what procedures am I going to be doing most of the time?
So it's kind of what you want to do. You know, we're just a family practice. We don't see a ton of kids, but some. But a lot of Crown and Bridge. We have a older population, like an active retiree population. They tend to care for their teeth. We're in a good suburb area where there's people that want to take care of their.
I love the retiree population. I don't know if that's legal, but I wish I could run a practice where I didn't see anyone under the age of 55, because those people are, to me, the 55 plus patient. They want to go on cruises and eat on the cruises, right? So that's what I try to help them do. You want to go on a cruise? Right. Yes. Do you want to eat? Well, we can help you with that. So you'll be doing fundamental restorative procedures with the opportunity to do more. Now,
we do single tooth implants as well. You know, so all of our associates, all of them, those that want to. Two of our associates will place single tooth implants with the guided. And
I love that. Do you place any single tooth implants yourself?
I do.
Yeah, it's so relaxing, right? Watch this. No one complains about the color of the implant. There's no contact, right? There's no contact. You just make a hole when you put something in it. It's super relaxing. You know, one of my complaints about dental schools is you only think something's hard if you never learned it. So I believe that dental students at Midwestern Arizona, they do. If they learn class 2s and single tooth implants at the same time, they would look at them the exact same way, right? So this whole mystery, the single tooth implant is just like, I wrote a whole blog about this. It's just like a giant post and core with no risk of perforating the root. So I love that your associates do that. Now, when did you graduate from dental school?
2006.
I graduated in 2002. So I graduated from Penn in 2002. My dental school is 3 times the cost now. Why? Nobody knows, okay? Just a giant scam by the government. That's the reason. We don't have time for that today, but what we do have time to talk about is empathy, compassion for the newer dentists, because they're coming out with a lot of debt. They want to make sure that they can do, you know, these millennials and these young people, Gen Zs, Dr. Trim, they're very entitled. I've heard some of them like to eat food and have shelter. What an entitled generation we are raising here. So if I want to eat food, have shelter, be able to pay back my loans, what type of compensation could I expect at your position?
So our lowest associate is right around 150,000. He uses one chair. He's in kind of in the retirement mode, but then our other ones are up to 300 based on, you know, it depends like what the motivation is, what you want to learn, what you want to do. And I'm okay. Like, if I just want you to be happy and you're and be successful.
I love that.
Like, Dr. Joe he's happy and he's slow and does the way he wants to. And Dr. Muller's a little quicker, and he just, so there's just a range. It's kind of what people
I mean,
want and
I love
present
that
for.
you've described it that way. We have similar practices. I have 2 offices. I have like 10 dentists that work with us, GPs and specialists, and everyone can be successful at their own pace. Everyone can figure out what fits for them within the context of the whole office being successful. And I think
Yeah.
it's awesome that you have an associate who's happy earning 150 in maybe a retirement mode, and then you have other ones earning up to $300,000. And I always say, when there's a dental student watching this saying like, how could someone earn $300,000 a year? Well, if you work 200 days a year and you collect $5 grand a day, that's $1 million. And if you're earning 30% of that, that's 300. And
Yeah.
they may be surprised to know that when you're in a good system with a good office, that can be fairly simple to do, right? I mean, I'm sure you see some crowns, some implants. So we went through that. I love that. Now, I also want to share this next part. So we talked about where the job is in Arizona, why you need an associate replacing someone for a good reason, what procedures, fundamental restorative things with the opportunity to do things like place implants, compensation 150 to 300,000. Now, I share this part at the end because dentists are people too, Dr. Trim. Do you ever feel like not a person in your dental office? Because I often feel that the patients don't think of me as a real person, right? They sometimes say things to me like, I don't hate you, I hate the dentist, but I go, you only know me as the dentist. But we're people too. So let's say somebody's watching this and they move to Tucson and they work with you and they think it's a great environment, but they want to do something outside the operatory. They want to do something at night. They want to do something on the weekends. What are some fun things you would do if you were a 32-year-old dentist in Tucson, Arizona?
So we enjoy, there's some lakes fairly close, a couple hours. So we enjoy boating. We
Nice.
do wakeboarding and stuff. There's a couple of ski resorts. So even though you're in the heat of Arizona, there's some great activities, outdoor activities. Just a few hour south or so, there's some great fishing lakes, tons of hiking and biking in the area. So it's just a all around great place to call home.
Nice. You can do outdoorsy things and indoorsy things. I'm a fan of the indoorsy thing, the drinking of margaritas, relaxing. Those are just as important to me as outdoorsy thing. And I actually really enjoy going to Arizona. Well, you've shared so much about your position here. People can text Tucson to 215-798-9897. But certain things, I'm a big sports fan. It sounds like you like sports. Certain things don't show up on the stat sheet. And one of the things we talked about before you got on, Dr. Trim, is you have your associates back clinically, emotionally. Tell us more about that mentorship. Tell someone, whether they work for you or another group practice, what's the value of having a Dr. Trim, a Dr. Paul Goodman, someone like my brother, Dr. Jeff Goodman, in the office with you when you're an associate dentist?
I think the biggest thing is so it's hard to want to do something new if you're afraid to fail. But if you
Yeah,
know someone's got your back and they're there to pick you up when you're falling, or it's like, okay, I can do this. Or they give you that, hey, just go try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm there. And
yeah,
and that's how I think you can learn and grow. And I look at this couple of associates we've had that have really matured so well clinically, because I was like, go take out that tooth. You got this. And they got stuck, and I said, hey, just try it this way. And so you're sitting there with them, and they're like, oh, and the light bulb goes on, and it's
yes.
rewarding for them and rewarding for me. It's a win-win that way. So
That I love that. You model, there's a lot of problems with medicine and doctors and what they do, but what isn't a problem is their training. Their training is phenomenal. And there's a real group mentality that if you're at a hospital, it's very normal for an attending and a chief resident to work on you together and you think you're getting great care. And I think it's poignant that dentistry has such emotional challenges with the patient that if another dentist comes into the room, instead of the patient saying, oh, this is great, they think what went wrong. And sometimes really nothing's gone wrong. We just want to make it more right. And I try to do that too. And that's one of my grievances with dentistry and the patients, that we do not have enough. Let's work on this with more than one dentist. And I'm proud of you guys for doing that. Well, thanks so much for being part of this. We're going to get you that associate to replace your fanatical football fan associate. And really appreciate you being on with us today. People can text Tucson to 215-798-9897 or visit dentistjobconnect.com. Thanks so much, Dr. Trim.
thank you. Appreciate it, Dr. Goodman.